So today I'm going to be making guacamole, which is one of my favorite foods. It's a food that I grew up eating, my mom made for me a lot, and it's a dish that I would say I'm fairly familiar with. So I think it's common knowledge that guacamole originates from Mexico, although it's been very much assimilated into American culture. For example, during the Super Bowl, which is arguably the most quintessentially American event that happens annually, during the Super Bowl, Americans spend $58.4 million on avocados just for that day in order to make guacamole, which is almost as much as we spend on pizza, beer, chicken wings, etc. I think one of the reasons that guacamole is such a popular dish here in the United States and abroad is because it's simple to make, but it's easy to change it and vary it based on one's personal preferences. So the guacamole that I'm going to be making today, I would say follows a fairly traditional recipe, but it definitely has been modified for my own particular taste. So I'm going to go through each ingredient that I'm going to use to make this recipe today and briefly talk about the country of origin for each thing I'm going to be using. So first of all, and most importantly, we have avocados. And according to the sticker, these avocados are a product of Mexico. Next, we have a lime. This lime is also a product of Mexico. While I was doing research though, something I found really interesting is that limes actually aren't native to Mexico or Central America. And we think of them as an important component of Mexican cuisine, such as tequila with lime or lime squeezed on tacos, etc. They're actually native to Southeast Asia and weren't even introduced to the Americas until Christopher Columbus brought them in 1493 on his voyage overseas. Next, we have tomatoes. These tomatoes are also a product of Mexico. What's interesting about that is actually here in the United States, our climate is really well suited for growing tomatoes, especially here in Kentucky. So I find it interesting that because of industrialized farming, this tomato, which could have easily been grown in my backyard, has traveled all the way from Mexico to wind up in my kitchen. Next, we have our cilantro, which I've already cut up and prepared. This cilantro is a product of the United States. We also have jalapeno. This was grown in Mexico. Sour cream. This is a product of the United States. We have a purple onion, which is a product of the United States, and the sticker said it's actually grown in Michigan, which surprised me a little bit. And finally, I'm going to add some garlic powder, which is a product of China. So far, that makes 3 countries involved in the making of this dish that originates from Mexico and has made its way to me living here in Kentucky as something that I'm very familiar and acquainted with in making. So with that, let's get cooking. the guacamole that turned into the final product, which I have eaten quite a bit of it because it was really good. But this item, this food product that I've made, you know, it seems like something that's mundane, but it actually connects me in a lot of ways to this complex and massive web of people and cultures and even history that have accumulated in a way that I was able to access this food and create it and have my own experience with it. For example, this food, avocados, met the localized nutritional needs of people, you know, some 500 years ago. And then the recipe got modified because of colonialism when foreign foods were introduced. And even now, it's something that's so valuable that this product that I'm purchasing and purchase quite often is in a lot of ways controlled by an international gang. So through something as mundane seeming as guacamole that I have to eat with my dinner connects me to a violent gang and to people from 500 years ago in another culture that's not even mine. So I think that's definitely one of the most beautiful things about food, is that it's something we have to have every day, and it's the one thing, you know, that all people and all cultures have in common. And like this guacamole and many other dishes, if you pay attention, you will see a lot of overlap and this sort of cultural drift happening. And somehow, throughout history and time and people, it all builds up in a way where it ends up that I can make it and enjoy it. And I hope you've enjoyed it too. Thank you.